Okay, let's talk about the endless quest for smooth skin. It's a tale as old as time, right? But so is that frustration with shaving. When you see that stubble coming back just a few hours later, it's such a quick fix, but the results disappear in a flash, which is why so many of us are looking for something that actually lasts.
And that search, well, it pretty much always leads you to the two heavyweights, sugaring and waxing. They both promise you weeks of smoothness by getting the hair right from the root. But that brings us to the real question, the one we're all here for: which one really, truly keeps you smoother for longer? Well, the answer isn't just a simple opinion. It actually comes down to science and technique.
So, to figure out why one method might have an edge over the other, we've got to go back to basics. We need to understand how our hair actually grows. And believe it or not, it's not random at all. It happens in a very specific, predictable cycle. See, every single hair on your body is in one of four phases at any given time. It all starts with anagen. That's the active growing phase, and it's our golden ticket. After that, it goes into catagen, which is a quick transition where the growth stops. Then comes telogen, the resting phase, before the grand finale, exogen, where the old hair falls out to make room for a new one. And here's why that matters. This is the secret sauce for any hair removal to last as long as possible. You have to get that hair during the anagen phase. When you pull out a hair that's actively growing, the follicle has to start the whole process over from scratch. And that, right there, is what buys you all that wonderfully smooth, hair-free time. All right, so now we know the mission. Target the hair in the anagen phase. So let's bring in our two contenders. They might look similar on the surface, but how they work, their technique, is worlds apart. And that small difference, it changes everything. First up, we've got sugaring. This method is ancient, and it's so simple, just a natural paste of sugar, lemon, and water. But here's the crucial part. The paste gets applied against the direction your hair grows. This lets it seep down into the follicle. Then it's flicked off in the natural direction of growth. Now remember that detail, it's going to be really important in a minute. And then you have waxing. It usually uses a resin-based wax, and it works in the complete opposite way. The wax is smoothed on with the hair growth, and then it's ripped off against the direction of growth. You can just imagine this creates a much more aggressive pull on the hair and on your skin. So it all comes down to this one simple difference. Sugaring pulls with the grain, waxing pulls against it. This single detail is the reason for almost every other difference we're about to talk about, from how long it lasts to how much it hurts. Okay, we've got the science, we've got the techniques. It is time to get to the main event. Which one of these methods is going to keep you smoother for longer? Let's settle it. Let's start with the classic, waxing. Generally, if you get a standard wax, you can expect the results to last you about 3 to 4 weeks. Not bad at all, right? That's a pretty decent amount of time. But now let's look at sugaring. On average, you're looking at 4 to 6 weeks of smoothness from a sugaring session. Now that's a pretty big difference. We're talking about potentially 2 extra weeks without having to think about hair removal. So there you have it, the verdict is in. When it comes to how long it lasts, sugaring definitely has the edge. But the real question is why? What is happening on a microscopic level that gives sugaring that extra staying power? It all comes down to getting a cleaner pull. Because sugaring removes the hair in the same direction it grows, it's way less likely to just snap the hair off at the skin's surface. Instead, you get the entire hair, root and all, which means the follicle has to do a complete reset. And this advantage just keeps building. First, like we said, less breakage means a cleaner removal. Second, sugaring paste is amazing because it can grab super short hairs. We're talking just 1/16 of an inch. Wax needs the hair to be about 1/4 of an inch long. This means you can get sugared sooner and more consistently, which helps get all your hair growing on the same schedule. And when that happens, you're removing way more hair in that perfect anagen phase every single time. And over time, all this can even lead to the hair growing back finer and thinner. It's a win-win-win. Now look, an extra couple of weeks of smoothness is a massive win for sure. But let's be real, longevity isn't the only thing that matters. So let's pull back and look at the whole picture, a true head-to-head comparison. Okay, so let's break it down. We've already crowned sugaring the winner on longevity. But look at the other categories. People almost always say it's less painful. It's also much gentler on the skin, and that's because the sugar paste doesn't stick to your live skin cells, only to the hair and dead skin. And of course, you can't beat the ingredients. It's all natural compared to the resins and chemicals you can find in some waxes. And the perks just keep coming. Because sugaring pulls the hair out in its natural direction, it seriously cuts down on the breakage that causes those annoying, painful ingrown hairs. Plus, the sugar paste itself is a fantastic natural exfoliant, so it leaves your skin feeling incredibly soft. It's not just hair removal, it's practically a skin treatment at the same time.
All right, we have gone through the science, the techniques, the results, the whole shebang. So, what's the big takeaway here? How can you use all this to make the best, smartest choice for you and your skin?
The conclusion is actually pretty straightforward. While both methods definitely get the job done, the technique behind sugaring, that simple act of pulling with the grain, gives it a huge advantage. It's not just about getting longer lasting results, it's about being kinder to your skin and getting all those extra skin health benefits along the way. So, when you get right down to it, the choice isn't just about which method gets rid of hair for an extra week or two. It's a much bigger question. Are you just trying to remove hair, or are you looking for a way to do that while also prioritizing the long-term health, comfort, and happiness of your skin? Something to think about.